Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome back once again to ToL Qualifier Europe number 3. My name is Blue, joined today by Jebro, and we're coming back to you now for our second quarterfinal match of the day, which is going to be between Wings of Change and True Extinction. Jebro, what about these teams? What do we know about them? Not much, correct?
Not much. I do know some of the guys from Winds of Change because Chunky is a horrible engineer, and when I say horrible, I mean good.
Seems you have personal relations with him.
Yeah, no, I've known him for a long time. We've always talked about builds and stuff. He's actually, I'll call him a mate. Let's call him a mate.
So what can we expect from Chunky then if you talk to him so much about engineer builds?
He's using a turret.
Oh boy.
So yeah, but it's just one, but it's more power based. He's using rifle, things like, he's using toolkit and stuff. He's very defensive, but he can actually 1v2 sometimes as well, because he's also very offensive with it, and it's really painful to be against him. So he either goes close or far normally, and he'll have that point for a while. Yeah, for sure.
Indeed.
For sure.
Alright, so let's head into the game. We are looking at, currently at the moment, blue team will be played by Wings of Chains, and True Extinction will be played on the red side over here. So once again, taking a very quick look at the builds for the blue team, we've got a Vigilante over here on Guardian, going to be taking a fairly standard Virtues build. Again, the Virtues build focuses a little bit more on team support, a little bit less on his own defense, by not going down to get the altruistic healing trait there. So he's going to be playing that at the moment. Other than that, though, it's fairly standard Bunker Guardian. We'll be seeing him a lot on points, being the support, as well as kind of the paperweight to make sure his opponents aren't capping the point there. Chungy, of course, here at the moment, running with the Rifle Engineer, as you were just talking about, with Soldier's Amulet, Runes of Melandru, and the split being 2-0-6-6-0, with one turret being on the rotation, and running with 2 kits and a supply crate otherwise. Moving on from that, we've got Nexon, I believe, if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Nexon over here.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be playing Hambo here at the moment. Zerker's Hambo, so we call it the Manbo build, as I call it. So again, there is quite a bit, we talk about this a little bit, there is quite a bit of a difference, in my opinion, after having played Warrior pretty actively for the past about a month and a half now. There's actually quite a large difference, in my opinion, between Soldier's Hambo and Zerker's Hambo. Zerker's just has so much more of a shock factor, in my opinion, that I've honestly gone to kind of calling it a different build, because at the same time, it's still, like, Hambo with Soldiers is extremely tanky to the point where, to be completely honest, I would almost consider it bunker, but Zerker's just is so much damage so quickly too, and with so much CC, you just have to avoid it because it comes in pretty much like a wrecking ball, and if you're not paying attention to it, if you're not dodging the correct hammer swings, then you're going to find yourself on the ground and in the downstate very quickly, so he's going to be something to watch out for in those team fights. We have Nidori over here playing Spirit Ranger, and again, Spirit Ranger somewhat has fallen out of the meta as of the April 15th patch. DDLE with Celestial has kind of taken its spot, but we do still see the occasional appearances of it, and obviously we are going to have one of those right here, running it with a carry-on amulet, so we'll be opting a little bit more for the offensive Condi spec here, along with Runes of the Forge. Axe, offhand Warhorn, this may get swapped out to Dagger or another offhand axe when the game begins, though, so keep an eye out for that. But other than that, it's just going to be fairly standard. Spirits running 2-0-6-6-0, double Spirits with Signet of Renewal, and obviously the Spirit of Nature will be very helpful for passive regeneration for his teammates in larger fights, as well as the res factor too. And then last but not least, you have Kyger over here playing, I believe, Eviscerate Warrior, and indeed that is the case. Obviously, Soldiers will be the prime choice here, as the main bulk of the damage will come from the spike. The usage of Sigil of Intelligence and the quick swap into an Eviscerate strike there will be used in this build, but other than that, it's just going to be fairly standard. We'll be seeing him a lot on side node fights, as well as probably in the middle a little bit less, but he'll be there too, trying to get some more spike burst off along with Nexon. That wraps it up for the blue team. Jebro, really quickly, take us through the red team. What do we see from these guys?
Yeah, just have a look at the Red Warrior. So going over to Short here, he's going for a 2-0-6-0-6. He's going to be rolling with Eviscerate Warrior as well, probably, but going for Celestial, so going for some more conditions as well, as generally some nice, some nice survivability there as well. He's got a nice mixture of stats, going with the Rune of the Pack as well, and he's obviously got the, it's nice. It's fun as well.
Why Rune of the Pack? That's a bit of an interesting choice there. Why Rune of the Pack?
That's what I was thinking, because of the swiftness. I was having a look before. He's not going to be getting a lot of swiftness.
But the interesting thing, though, is that it seems a bit of an overcompensation, considering he's already running with Warrior Sprint as well. So, I'm not entirely sure why he's opted to take that rune choice, but still, obviously, we respect his decision.
Lots of roaming. We're going to see a roaming warrior.
So again, obviously, again, for those that don't catch on, that means that we'll probably be seeing him push Farpoint quite a bit due to the choice of his runes as well as the warrior sprint trait being taken here.
Which is actually going to be quite good because the other team are quite tanky, so they're going to have to attack loads of people.
Another power necro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, necros are really. We haven't been seeing them a lot, and now we've got
two power necros in 2 sets.
Yeah,
what?
Power necro
what is
coming in, man.
What is
you
this?
You saw how it destroyed Exaltation in that team fight and gave mid.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, is it's such an easy thing to lock down that no team has ever really considered taking it before. But still,
who's going to steal the boons on the opposite team?
I don't know. That's a very good point. That's a very good point, Jebro.
It's going to be an interesting one. So he's gone Dagger, of course, going for the Rune of the Traveller, so going for run speed. So he's going to be quite mobile as well, so he's going to be quite fast. Obviously, this is power. This is going to be all about Lich Form.
Doing a lot of burst very quickly and making sure your teammates keep you alive. That's 90% of this build, to be honest.
And they're not going to be able to kill him that fast, really, to be honest, as well.
The other thing to note here, too, is he's opted to, and sorry to interrupt, he's taken the Flesh Worm, which he is going to, and this and DPS Guardian are 2 high DPS builds that kind of have the same complaints about them as to where, again, once you engage fully on your opponents, there's no coming out of the fight. You're either going to die in that fight or you're going to win it. And that's just one of the unfortunate things of running this build. Running with the Worm is actually going to give him the option to do that, but unfortunately is going to give him somewhat of an awkward stun breaker. He won't really have a very convenient stun breaker to use. He's going to have to set this up ahead of time, and if he hasn't done that, then he's going to find himself in some very bad scenarios very quickly.
Yeah, it's important. That is a very good point, man, because he needs to. He's going to have to pop it off fast. Very fast. We'll go over to Rumo quickly.
Yep.
Having a look. He's playing Sword Dagger, going for the 20066 build, and he's going to be runing with the Rune of Strength and also the Berserker's Amulet. So like we said before, he's going to be building up the might stacks in the fight. He's not going to be as bursty as the other Thief builds that we normally see, but he can be a royal pain in the butt at the same time. Going over to Fushsor. Very careful.
Fushsor.
Fushsor.
Is it? I guess that's German.
It could be.
It sounds German.
We'll do
German. We'll talk about it later.
He's playing Hambo build with the Rune of Strength, the Soldier's Amulet, 00626. And he's also running, as a note, the War Banner, the Battle Standard, which is going to be able to res, depending on how many people go down in the fight. Some people is the best way I can describe that. So going over finally to the Guardian, nothing completely different, but he looks like he's running the Guild Wars 2 cap there, actually. Oh, I haven't seen that since better. Anyway, he's going to be running with the 01661 build. So this is different to the other Guardian. A little bit more selfish just because of the altruistic healing, but he's very good. If he's going to stay up in the team fights, then so is his team, and it's going to be important, especially for that Necro. And he's going to be, of course, running with the Rune of the Soldier and the Cleric's Amulet, and that is the end of the red team.
All right, so once again, guys, we should be getting started with our first game here in just a second. But before we begin, Jebro, we got some predictions to make. What do you think is going to happen? Me personally, here's what I predict, okay? I think what we're going to end up seeing happening here, just because of the map, personally, I think we'll see Red Team lose the initial middle fight. I think Blue Team's got enough cover support and enough general chaos in that mid fight to win it. However, Red Team gets some pretty big points due to the fact that they're running a Thief and their opponents are not. So I think Rumno is going to be a pretty big component into possibly tying a comeback here for Extinction. So I think we'll kind of see at the start here, we're going to see our Red Team go for a mid fight but lose. And then as well, we'll start to see them shift through a side point strat. Will that work or not? That is yet to be seen, but it's going to be interesting to say the least. What do you think?
I think you're right. If they don't lock down that Necro fast, they're going to lose that mid fight. Though, if they don't kill him, I think
they'll be able to do it though. That's, to be honest, it's not a very hard thing to lock down. I think that they should be able to pull that off pretty easily. But, like I said, I've been proven wrong before, so we're going to have to wait and see. But what is this split from Farius specifically? We're not even going to open the map. What's going on here? An immediate denial on Chunji there, coming out of the gate, going to stop and immobilize him. This will screw up the red team's initial rotation a little bit. I think they might have wanted to push far, but this is going to throw Farius off, and now he's going to head up into mid to some very outnumbered scenarios here. He might actually have trouble getting onto the point, to be completely honest. He's going to be going up against a 1v3 on node here, and that'll be some trouble for him. Necro's on his way up around the back here, but still, again, we're going to have to see Therius taking quite a bit of damage on his own on the point. Other than that, back over here at the mine to cover the other points very quickly. We have a 2v1, so this should easily go back into control of the red team as soon as they have Chunji under control. And then back over here at blue team's home node, Short Cthulhu actually making quite a bit of progress versus Nex in here, and should be able to steal this node away.
I'm just having a look at mid. Lich form is up, and he was building and building the boons on himself and the damage on the opposite team. And he not actually everyone from the blue team is tight. They're bailing.
Yeah.
They're bailing because they can't do anything about it. No one can actually put pressure on. And the actual thief on the red team, he's just gone over to Kega. He's going to take him down. And also with the Lich as well. That is no time, you know.
Just wrecked house, unfortunately. Blue team just did not seem ready for that whatsoever and got trampled. And to be completely honest here, and with the exception of Henge, and even Henge was looking like it might have gone into red team favor there for a little bit until they got support from Nidori, but still at the start here, it's looking pretty good for the red team. Now, granted, blue team's going to get their opportunity to come back here in just a few minutes. They still have Chunji, and Chunji is doing a pretty darn good job holding off the red team back over here. But yeah, with the hammer combo coming back and locking him down, he'll be going down in just a second here. So things are still kind of up in the air, but I definitely think red team's got the swing at the start here.
See, look, 1v3, he's still alive. He's still there, man. He's so annoying, and he's going to regen his HP, and he's clever.
No, he's not.
Get back on the point. Oh, maybe not then. But he's kept 3 people there, and that means blue have been able to push. Sorry, red have been able to re-push back to mid.
But back, look at back on. Sorry to interrupt, but look back on here at mid too. Very good rotation on the point. This is a very small example of rotation, but it's very good nonetheless. As again, Short Cthulhu here is a rather tanky individual, so he can get on the point there and tank it for a little bit. They threw him on the point, and the second that happened, Therius rotated off it and got behind this pillar to LOS here. It's a very good move. You don't see a lot of teams doing that too often there, but it's an extremely helpful thing. It gives your Guardian some LOS advantage. It gives him a little bit more room to breathe and regenerate health, and now it's put him in a much healthier position to once more get back on the point and start tanking again.
Yeah, and they've actually pushed the opposite warriors. They've actually switched out the more tanky warrior for the more celestial, the more condition-orientated warrior, which is a really good idea, especially against an engineer, because condition cleanse is a lot less, so he could actually win this 1v1, and that's a very, very sensible idea. Look at Chungi now. He's having some really big problems now against those conditions. 4 or 5 stacks of Torment, still not got it off. He's going to be able to now, but he's going to have so much trouble against those conditions.
And at the same time, he's not making really any progress at all in decapturing this point. He's getting little bits there. Good knockback goes off there. Very good combo, though. He finally gets the knockback. Granted, again, you obviously got to keep in mind that this build in general is just so annoying with knockbacks, but still, Short Cthulhu in the long game has the very large advantage, and with this Thief coming into play here now, too, once more, we will see Red Team probably start to take back this point, but obviously Chunji doing a very good job at kind of delaying the score caps here for the Red Team and delaying them from getting any further advantages in this game.
Just nice. Did you see it? He's
very well coordinated knockbacks from Chunji. Just to talk about the micro there a little bit on him. Very excellent job by him so far in that regard.
Just brings back bad memories when I look at him. But Red Team still, they did get back mine, but he is holding holding 2 people over there. They need to take the advantage at mid now. They need to kill these guys fast so they can get this node back.
That becomes the big question with Chunji, is how much of an advantage is he actually giving his team? Is he distracting them enough and doing enough back over there at that point to actually warrant him being completely out of the team fights? Because again, we've seen builds like this, the decap NG as it were, as we're going to classify. We've seen builds like this before, specifically before the April 15th patch. We had been seeing this coming up a little bit more in the PvP rotation, but it had been highly debated for quite some time just due to the fact that, again, it's completely useless in team fights for the most part there. So you kind of have to weigh the back and forth. Is it actually worth it to run that in your team comp, and are you gaining enough of an advantage on the other points to actually warrant running something like that? Right now, based on what we're seeing in mid, it's not. However, at the same time, Chunji is still doing a really good job at actually making sure he holds on to that mine. So for the time being, it is working, but if Red Team adjusts their rotations properly, I still think they can easily kind of wrap it back in their favor. But while we were doing that, we actually missed what was happening in mid. I did have the camera on it, obviously, but still, we saw 4 members of the blue team get knocked out of play, which again is going to give Red Team pretty much all the time they need to get over here and go up against Chunji. So now again, it's all the pressure is going to shift back over to him to kind of hold on to this 2 cap or even tie the 1-1 cap in favor of Wings of Change.
See, this is what I don't understand. I don't know why Blue Team haven't gone over to support him, because with him and someone else, you know, someone else can focus on the damage, he can focus on CC and just immobilizing and whatnot, and they could probably just keep onto it rather than they're just bashing their heads against the wall at the moment. The red team are getting a lot of kills. I mean, I might even just have a quick look at the score. You can see the difference personal score-wise. I mean, they're getting recaps, they're getting a lot of kills, and they're doubling points on most of the time, actually, at the moment. So you can really see from looking at those scores how many kills are coming out for each team, and that's what's pushing red ahead, really, at the moment.
And you can see back over here in mid, too, like you've been saying, there's just no progress being made by Wings of Change in mid. Red team just has an iron curtain set up over here. You've got Rumo stealing boons and being annoying as heck. Therius is acting as the bunker. Therius is starting to weaken a little bit, but I think he can hold on for a little bit longer. And even if he does end up going down, you've still got Fushor here, who on a soldier's Hambo, can tank that point on his own for possibly, I would honestly say 1 to 2 minutes, even with 3 players there. And now, once again, they've regrouped, and even any other push that we'll see the blue team make is going to be countered out, since red team once again regroup back over here towards mid, and unfortunately the push that they're now trying to make towards mine is probably not going to be too successful.
I've actually rotated Chungi to mid as well, so they're gonna.
That's an interesting change up there, to be completely honest. At the very least, that might throw red team off a little bit, but you can already see that they've caught on to this plan too, as they're now moving Therius, their bunker guardian, over here. Which, again, considering that most of blue team headed over there, it was the obvious choice to move Therius over here and keep that support where most of the players are.
They really need to get someone with the NG. Just get someone with the NG.
I'm trying to think, like, who could go with him, though. If they had a thief, I'm trying to think that might be very good.
Yeah, that would be the best.
They don't have anyone like that, though. They don't have any really high spike potentiality. The highest spike on their team is going to be Nexon on the Circers, and they need him in the team fight because their other warrior is running on Eviscerate. So, to be honest, I'm trying to think of some things they could change up here. If they moved Kyger over to a soldier's Hambo and just ran double Hambo, but then had Nexon swing around with their engineer on that point, I think that may give them the kind of chaos they need to take those advantages. Granted, again, it is going to leave them without a Hambo in the team fights, but it'll make up for it by having Kyger there on soldier's Hambo and having that extra tank in the fight too.
Oh god, the Necro is just wrecking house on this point. Wow. That's
the second time we saw a multi-man wipe through Lich there. Very excellent usage of that by Lemnave and the rest of True Extinction. Very good.
But the thing is, no one can just run this build and play it well. You know, you gotta pick your moments. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna run into the fight, pop Lich form, and just gonna kill everyone. You can't do that. And he's just popping it at the right time, just completely unexpected. Fights fully engaged, and you know there's nothing they can do. And at the moment, Chungi's just going to get a load of pain on him. He has gone down, and someone else has joined him on point. So thank God someone's with him, but he's going to go down fairly shortly as well.
Midori, unfortunately, won't be lasting long. They do have the cap, but they'll be losing it very quickly here, and it doesn't look like blue team's going to be reinforcing it. In fact, blue team is doing something that I kind of agree with. They're pushing over here towards mine again. Most of red team was sitting at mid at the time. This is honestly their opportunity. Unfortunately, they didn't have, again, like I was saying, blue team's lacking way too much burst. They don't really have any burst. That's their big issue here. And because of that, they can't make these quick plays. And in the team fights themselves, they're obviously suffering due to the fact that they're essentially forced to 4v5 any big team fights because they can't really put Chungi in those fights. So unfortunately, I don't think the comp that blue team's running here is going to work too well versus the red team. They need to change something up going into game 2 if they want to have any chance of winning. It's just right now, I don't really see them getting any big advantages in large team fights. And that's just somewhat unfortunate that red team has managed to out-build wars them.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying earlier, if you combined that build with something like a bursty thief or someone with burst damage, you're going to be able to kill people so fast. Just with those two guys on the point, you're hardly ever going to get it back. You've got so much CC on you can't do anything about the guy who's trying to burst you down. And that combination is something which is really underrated in my opinion. It just works so nicely. But you know, there is no one. They need some damage.
Yeah.
They're out sustaining them.
Let's talk about the good things for blue team though. They're very good. They're very good at actually keeping themselves sustained. They're very good at keeping themselves up and alive. It's just that unfortunately, without any of the spike bursts that say like Rumo is bringing to the fight for the red team, they don't really have that extra push that's needed to kind of knock their opponents into the down state and completely out of play. That's just unfortunately what they are missing here at the moment. Now, again, I'm not really ever too much in favor of a decap NG. So if they wanted to swap Chungi over to something like a thief or something, that would work pretty well too. But obviously those things will need to be considered going into game 2. But once again here, guys, we are now at the end of the game. So with that said, True Extinction is now going to be up 1-0 in the set here. And once more, they will just be one short victory away from moving on to their qualifier round, which I believe will be played against Wiggy's Wicked Wang Gang, if they are obviously able to take the second game here and end it in a 2-0 victory. Now, going into that, going over to Legacy, Jebro, do you think we'll see that? Or, just in general, usual questions, predictions, what could we see?
Yeah, Chunky will push far. Like he did just then, he'll start doing that, and because the points are further away, there is more distance. It feels like, you know, in this map they could go for a 2 side node. That's something that is something that they gain on this map, to be completely honest. I think that with Chunji in play, and due to the fact that the nodes are spread out a little bit more, they are little dips and the little chasms you can knock them into.
I think Chunji will have a little bit easier of a time, possibly holding those outnumbered fights, and just in general, possibly holding a second point just on his lonesome, while the rest of his team goes to focus on other nodes. Now again, Red Team can very easily swarm back onto him and kill him out, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, I really think a Thief could be beneficial to this blue team, but with their comp they have right now, it'll be hard, but there is a very small chance that they can hold a consistent 2-cap side node game and win through that.
And also, if they want to push for Lord, it's going to take them half an hour to kill him.
Yeah, that too.
It being, you know, very, I'm exaggerating quite a lot, but, you know, it's going to take them a long time considering, they've just not got really any burst potential whatsoever. Well, they do, but, you know, it's not, in comparison to everyone else on their team, that's bursty, but hey-ho. But yeah, exactly, guys. I mean, if you've not been to Guild Wars 2 and you're just having a look at the channel, this is the next map. This is Legacy of the Qualifier. Extinction of 1-1 game. This is a map, still 3 capture points. It is Conquest, of course. We do have the 2 Lords in the top right-hand corner for blue, top bottom left-hand corner for red. 150 points. There's only a gate and the rest of the team obviously standing between you and the Lord and 4 NPCs. If you kill the boss, you get 150 points. So if you reach 350, you can do a possible Lord rush, which might be something that blue team potentially could consider, but I probably wouldn't if I were them.
To be honest, here's the thing that I've noticed, and this has been a very slow evolution of the meta over the past, I would honestly say, like 9 to 10 months, is that the Lord play as a strategy itself, I honestly don't really think exists anymore.
It's a desperation
nobody,
move.
I won't say nobody, but most teams, I'd say about 90%, don't actually plan to rush the Lord. It just happens because a game ends up being so close because you don't know if you're going to win and you need to panic play it. But that's honestly what the Lord has turned into. It's very, very, not very often that we see Lord being implemented as an actual planned thing that, okay, the second we hit 378 points at this time slot, we're going to rush Lord. That does not really happen.
Definitely plan B.
It's far too much of an inconvenience to completely pull 3 or more members off the node, go take down that gate and rush in, all while bursting through your opponents in the meantime and hope that you don't get gimped out by one of the AIs or by like a thief or something like that on your way over there.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. I mean, I think it is definitely a plan B option. But you never know. Maybe this is we haven't seen these guys before. Maybe it is. You never know. This could be the top.
I'm going to stop you right there. It's not.
This could be the 10%. I've got to have some hope in somewhere. I love this map because of the Lord. I still love the Lord in this map. You know I love the Lord on this map.
Of course.
It can bring people, it can bring teams, and it can cause some big upsets. And it's really exciting to watch when it gets engaged. But if you're doing it properly, you're probably not going to be going for the Lord. But, you know, if you're behind, you are doing it properly by going to the Lord probably. Anyway, they can go. Let's go. Why not?
Alright, so at the moment, guys, we are waiting for True Extinction to get their members back in play. I'm not sure if there's some change-ups in the comp going on. It would appear that there actually is some slight change-ups going on here at the moment, which, of course, they are allowed to do, but as soon as they get themselves back in play, we'll reassess what they have changed up here and then get started. And as you can see here, Jebro, I believe you can already go over that. We already have had, I believe, an Ellie now coming into play here over on the red side as well, something that, surprisingly at least for this patch, we have not seen yet today.
We have a Necro on the blue team as well.
Do it.
That's going to help.
Indeed.
That's going to help a lot.
Condi Necro, too. And, no, not even, what is the, hold on.
He's going for an interesting build.
Parasitic Contagion.
These guys are playing some random builds, man. It's great. It's great. I love it. Good job.
This is
Thank
interesting.
you. I love seeing different variations of builds. People like these guys, you know, they've got some guts going for the builds they're going for. And you know what? If it helps them, they've got a Necro now. That's going to increase their damage, you know, by a lot. And it's gonna. I'm not sure about that trait. But we'll see.
It'll be good for self-survivability, but I've played with this trait a little bit. It seems extremely underwhelming just in the overall scope of it, so I don't see it working too well. Doomfire would have been a good choice, but I don't know about Parasitic Contagion. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see when the game begins, so let us open up our map. And Jebro, check out the splits as we start Game 2 now of True Extinction versus Wings of Change.
Chungi has gone for the opposite option. He's actually gone for the close point now. We do see the Necro and the Ellie on the red team going to close. Necro's going to actually hold back, and he's not going to go fully onto the point because he just doesn't want to make sure that if people were going to the far point, that he was going to surprise them and actually kick some butt. But no one came there, so then he's a higher towel it to mid, which is indeed what he's done. And we're engaging on a big, massive team fight at mid now. And even Chungi's getting involved, and also Fuchs. Oh, good lord, I'm not going to be able to say that name right. But Rumo's gone down on mid. Quick, fast res actually from that team. He just needs to pull out and potentially not get involved in that massive amount of cleave in the mid. He needs to be quite patient and just pick his moments really, because otherwise it's just going to get cleaved down. There doesn't really need to be a lot of focus if he gets into that position. So having a look now at the Necro.
Yeah, Neck getting thrown into a corner here. Yeah, you can just see, and locked down by an LOW there too. Will secure his going into the down, but thankfully again, Spirit Ranger ready to go there. Gets his Spirit out into play and gets him up through that. No interrupt comes out from the red team, and now once again Neck thankfully will be saved by that. But once again, there's some big cooldowns to keep that in mind. That now that that's been used, it's not going to be available. And so far here, we have a fairly even mid-fight, not really leaning towards anyone. We just saw the first kill there, yeah. We just saw the first kill going off in favor of the blue team onto Lemve there. And as such, blue team will start to get a little bit of a push, but at the same time here, too, blue team has also scored a decap back over here at the quarry. Chungi extending his reach back over here to this point, has managed to take it away from his opponents. Almost got the cap, too, but versus the Staff Ellie, he may face some trouble as his own, as the Staff Ellie is going to have quite a bit of CC to offer in a 1v1 as well.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly what I was just thinking, dude. Because he actually just pushed him off. He's using that earth wall as well. And he's doing a good job. He did decap it, and he's going to get some support as well from the other Necro. Who, of course, a really good matchup to have is a Necro versus an Engineer. Because, of course, again with the conditions, but because he's quite tanky, he might be able to fight them off for a little bit of time.
Farius and Neck going down over here in mid race to stomp, but Neck gets back up and Farius goes down. So blue team getting both the res and the stomp once more here will take a pretty big advantage in the mid fights. And we're seeing once again, much like the last set, a very different blue team heading into game 2 now.
Yeah, what's going on with these? When they get onto this map, it just seems to flip. But Chungi's in a bit of trouble. He's got conditions on him. He was feared as well, so he got even more. No one's even in near enough to get anywhere near him to help him out and to support him. And the Ellie's just going to stand next to him and watch him bleed out. So no one's going to be able to get any support. And Neck is actually really low on HP. He needs to be very careful. He's done the right thing. He's gone on top of the on top of the rules behind the point, and he's behind his guys. So he's actually doing quite a good job. He's still got
to be honest, to talk a little bit about this team fight, Neck is like half the reason they're winning this team fight right now.
Yeah, hell yes.
So it's like half Neck and half of red team's decision to focus Neck, because Neck is baiting like a pro right now. That's the only big focus target I've seen throughout this entire team fight. And every single time, they've had a few close calls, granted, but every single time Neck has gone down, blue team has gotten him back up. And he's still dealing the Kandi. You can see it's going on to them. It's not too heavy right now, obviously, again, because he's gone to the downstate, but Neck is still dealing a pretty decent amount of Kandi damage. And you can see, too, there's some really good support coming out here, specifically through Kyger and the Guardian over here on the blue team. They're doing a very good job of getting him up. And all of this is happening. Neck is spreading Kandis. The rest of the blue team is also dealing the required damage, and they're slowly whittling down the red team and kind of wasting them out, while back over at far, you've got Chungi decapping that left and right, which is giving them a very small lead, granted, but it is giving them a lead. Now, however, things may start to change. As we saw, Lemve had to overextend a little bit there, too, and we're going to see a very close stomp res attempt, but thankfully, red team will get Lemve back up, and now, once more, this should be red team's opportunity to possibly swing things back around into their favor, but still, up to this point, blue team has been managing both their players and as well their rotations extremely well, which has given them the small lead.
The awesome minecart with random coal or whatever that is on the floor just saved the red elementalist there. He just got knocked back right into that, and normally that wouldn't have happened. It would have just got knocked off point. It's going to take Chungi a while to decap this now, and the decap has happened on the other side as well. And there's only a cap coming. So red team, they are slowly catching up now with this cap, and we did see Nidori going down. The blue ranger is just down over towards the waterfall. It looks like red's just being a bit cheeky trying to get that cap. They want to get someone on there to get as many caps as they possibly can. They need to make sure they keep any kind of lead they can and be very aware of that. But at the moment, Neck is on the mid alone versus 2. Is against the Thief. He's actually versus 3, 4. It's 4 guys on mid at the moment.
Well, now, unfortunately, he had quite a bit of mitigation there when he was going up against just Therius and the Thief. But now that again that the other guys have come in there, they'll have no trouble locking him down whatsoever. So he's kind of knocked out. But at the same time, they've got more reinforcements coming in. You've got Nidori here bringing support. Kyger as well on Soldier's Hambo will be able to keep this fight going for quite a bit. And now we're seeing a shift towards a very side point focused game. I feel here, where a lot of our players are going to attempt to go for back caps. This will start to make things much more sloppier in the long game. But we'll definitely start to throw the leads out here as we get closer and closer towards the end of this game.
It was a good decision from Chungi as well to just bail off of Corey, because whoever was after him, sorry, I didn't see who it was, actually disengaged and went back to mid, and he's actually just gone right back to it. And I bet red team are just saying, this guy's really annoying me now. We got to try and kill him fast. And anytime they get 2 players to go back there, he's only died once since he's actually in this game. And we've had 6 minutes. And if blue keep doing what they're doing, they could stretch the lead. But the thing is, red are actually getting those decaps over on the waterfall, and that's actually kept Nidori out of that mid fight to give some support to the Necro, because the Necro is actually quite low at the moment. He's on Death Shroud, which is probably why he's quite low. But yeah, he's still on 7.5k HP. He's actually just gone down mid. The really fast red's coming out. Not sure they're going to get it. He is up, so they're still good in this fight.
To be honest, this is I've kind of been sitting here weighing the pluses and minuses of what each team is doing here at the moment, and this is a very even game. This could go a lot of ways very quickly. Some things to consider on the side notes: red team will obviously get them much quicker and much more often because of the fact that they have the Thief, but at the same time, the Thief obviously can't hold his own on the node, and as such, if he does end up going over there, then he's probably not going to be there very long, especially if someone else shows up and tries to 1v1 him. On the contrast, blue team's kind of decapper, Chungi, can hold his own for much longer and can actually probably fully cap the points. But unfortunately, if he gets knocked out of there, it's going to take him a very long time to get to that point, and it'll be a rather unwieldy target to actually get there, which means, again, blue team is probably, or red team rather, is going to spot him coming to that node way ahead of time, and they'll have plenty of time to prepare, and we'll be able to stall the decap for much longer. So that's things like that. And then in the mid-fight, too, where we have a lot of back and forth, where teams, although it has seemed definitely dominant for the blue team so far over here towards the graveyard, it's definitely looking like red team also has their pull in it as well. You got to keep in mind they've got a little bit more spike burst. They seem to have a little bit more coordination in the team fights, to be honest, there. And with that said, that team fight is still kind of up into the air as to which way it could go as well. So really, this game could go either way at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised.
So close. But the thing is, like, if they want to get really ahead, really fast, which is we're gonna see that, the last 2 minutes, we'll probably see maybe someone.
We honestly could be looking at a timer game here, to be honest. It is a possibility. We are a little over halfway through the game, and neither team has broken 200 points yet. So
and everyone is mid.
Yep.
Everyone is mid.
We've got a long game. It may not be the most interesting game in the world, to be honest, there, just because it's going to be very mid-focused. But it will lead to a probably pretty eventful ending, so keep your eyes out for that one as we get closer and closer towards the end of this game. That's going to be where the hype comes in. If we see this game keep itself tied.
I'm just enjoying it because I think I've seen Neck go down at least 20 times.
Oh yeah.
just because, but that's not because he's playing badly. That's because they're focusing the correct person, and he's the only one that can really actually focus and get down quite quickly. In this team, he's doing the damage.
You can actually see over here too now, red team, a sudden shift in their movement where both Lemve and Fior are both just completely pulling off mid to kill Chungi, even their warrior here too, and granted the warrior kind of needed to get out of the fight anyway because he's lower, but still just completely going, nope, we do not want that on our home node, keep it away, get it back there, but oh look, Chungi managed to get back up, a clutch banner comes out of the way there from I believe Kyger, just as Kyger was about to go down there too, gets him back up, and now he's going to be on this point versus the LA once more, causing some more trouble for the blue team, or for the red team rather.
Yeah, Chungi's got that decap, but so look how many points they got back, because they've just got that one kill. Even one kill is going to bring them back into
And now it's in favor of Wings of Change. This has been a very back and forth game. Like I said, Could be looking at a timer, could be looking at a Lord game, to be honest.
I'm watching the Rumo as again because he's going to maybe go for that decap again, or he might think about trying to come in and just finish Chungi.
They don't want to deal with Chungi. That's the thing. Chungi's
he's
like
gonna go
this build for anyone who doesn't like. Everybody knows what a decap NG is. It's a horrible build to fight. It's annoying to fight. It brings your team down. You just want to get rid of it. Just get it out of there. Get it out of play. Go back to mid and focus on that fight. They know they're never going to win it, but this allows Rumo to knock him out, and Rumo can probably get a little bit of some extra time here to possibly rush over towards Waterfall and decap that too. Like right now is a really good time for Rumo to rush over to that, but we'll have to see if he takes that advantage here over the next few seconds.
I'm not sure Neck was the right person to push over to Corey, to be honest. I know they wanted to get some damage maybe over there, but when he was going down, that's not a good move from the blue team to push him over, because he's probably, I don't know, he's actually doing quite a good job at surviving. I'm just trying to see how much health he's generating for himself when he puts these conditions on. I can't, 332 tick I saw there actually. What the hell, really? Actually not too bad, but he's still getting the other Necro just fearing him there, just loading him with conditions. He's down, and now they need to get back into the fight quickly. Chungi's quite slow as well. You can get there a little bit faster with Rifle, but they need to be careful here because there's still 9 points in it. Really? 9 points? Come on now.
We did see, however, Rumo going for a blue team gate, knocked that down. That's now out of play, so they've got an open door to pierce through here. I believe we might have actually been seeing Neck try to go for a similar thing, but that wouldn't have been the wisest thing in the world. And once more, yes indeed, as we go over towards the waterfall, we're going to be seeing Rumo score another decap in favor of the red team, which will allow them to take their 2-point lead back once again.
But they're going to get the cap this time. They haven't capped it yet, and he's actually going to stay. But look, blue team, Lord Rush. Yep. We've got a Lord Rush.
There we go, pushing through the gates here right now. Blue team is going to push into the red team base and attempt to take it out. They are not past the 350-point mark yet, which means that this kill is not going to net them a victory, even if it is successful, but it will put them very far ahead, at least compared to where they are now. This push, however, is going to leave them extremely vulnerable throughout the rest of the map, because as you can see here, red team has managed to, for the first time in quite a while, manage to get a consistent 2-cap here now, which means that they are going to start to rocket ahead a little bit. That has been stolen back over here at the waterfall, but they've still got Quarry held, and again, they have managed to get a 30-point lead so far, which in this game is a pretty, in this game specifically, is a pretty significant lead.
Well, yeah, sorry, it is a big lead. Yes, you're right. You're completely right, actually. And the Lord is currently at about 70% HP.
Lord's not going down, to be honest here. Cthulhu is focusing on Kyger, trying to knock him out. Again, just trying to get rid of some more chaos here, but they've got Nidori in play. They need to kill this Lord, as again, they themselves are kind of wasting time over here. Actually, well, apologies. They're fending off the offensive here right now, so red team is doing actually a pretty fantastic job at this, and it looks like that we're going to see the Lord Rush fail.
This is going to be foul indeed, and Neck's coming in as well, so might be able to apply some pressure. But the thing is that the oh god, the Spirit Ranger's got no cooldowns. He does almost have his Spirit up, but he's dead. So and Neck's got to come in here and really do a lot of damage, and it's not going to happen. Not against the Guardian, and not against the Warrior, and not against the Lord. Still with another two NPCs up. The blue team need to come out and they need to decap everything and really do it very, very quickly.
This was a very awkward and very sloppy Lord push, to be honest. I don't think it was the optimal time to do it. I don't think it was the right. I don't think it was the proper time to do it at all there. And now because of that, we're seeing a very scrambled blue team all over the map. Red team is going to have plenty of time to recuperate, get themselves back to their own points. And in all honesty, that rush and the failing of that rush might have been the GG. There's 2 minutes left here. Our red team has about an 80-point lead, which in this game is probably enough to say GG. And red team is now bunkering down back over here towards their home and mid, to the point where blue team, even if they do rush now, they're not going to have sufficient enough pressure to kill it.
They're going again.
This is, well, I mean, that's their only choice at this point, to be honest. They've only got 1 minute and 40 left. They're down by a lot, and they can't. That's the thing too, is because it's a bunch of tanky builds fighting each other here, or because of the team fights are going to be happening so slowly, is that they can't commit to another team fight because it's going to take them far too long to win it.
Here we go. Okay, so Chungi's here, so the knockbacks are going to help, but the thing is, all of red team now pulling. Well, 4 of the red team members are coming back, and Necro's actually either going to go for a waterfall decap and cap as well. So these guys are going to have to not only kill the Lord, but they might not even get enough points to win blue. If they get 3-5, they're not going to.
And even this Lord Rush,
no,
it's not happening.
It's not.
Nidori's gone down. Vigilante's going to have the pressure on him in just a second. We've got Chunji over there too, trying to do something to the Red Lord, but his health is just not dropping down. So if we see GG's called in map chat over the next few seconds, I will not be surprised at all here, as once again, just did not have... We talked about this in the last map, too, that they were not going to have the damage to rush this Lord. They pushed themselves into a corner with no way out, and Red Team just abused the crap out of that here in the end. That first Lord push should have never happened. If they didn't go for that, I think they would have had a much better opportunity to come back here, but unfortunately, they've squandered that opportunity, and now because of that, we probably are going to be seeing true Extinction take game 2 and move on to the qualifying rounds.
Just having a look at... They're not going to kill this Lord in 15 seconds.
It's 15 seconds. Like, and Red Team's all here, too. And keep in mind, they've got a Staff Ellie, so the Staff Ellie can actually heal the Lord if necessary.
And the Guardian as well, and anyone... Yeah, this
it's not happening, guys.
He's reset completely now.
Alright. So that'll be the end of this set, guys. Congratulations with the timer ending here now. 2 True Extinction. Final score being 475 to 328. Congratulations once more to True Extinction. They're going to be moving on to play Wiggy's Wicked Wang Gang in the qualifying rounds just a little bit later on today. But of course, myself and Drebro are going to be taking a short, about a 3-minute break here, guys, to move into the other server, where we should have our next match between Husaria and Team Exultation prepared and ready to go. So make sure you guys are sticking around. We'll have much more action coming up over the next few minutes, but we'll be right back. And as well, we'll be doing another llama giveaway while we're away, so keep your eyes on the chat. We'll tell you when to spam hashtag llama legacy. You just got to put it in there once. Make sure you're following the channel in order to win that, and assuming you did put it in at the correct time, you'll be entered to win, and we'll send you a PM while we're on the break if you won. But once again, we'll be right back, guys, with more of ToL2 European Qualifier number 3 in just a few minutes.